All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our second segment, and this is from the Oversight Project. All right, and this is Harris Waltz. I'm sorry, it says Red Waltz. Corporate media begins Operation Gaslight CCP Connections. Okay, that's like
yeah. This is so. We got Winnie the Pooh up top. You know, this is China.
Oh,
okay.
You're on a target. You're on a list now.
Oops. Did I say that?
You're on a list, bro.
Oh bother. Anyway, the so there's the top Xi, and then we have on the left we have the CPPCC. You know, this is their United Front work. This is all their foreign influence stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, the foreign influence stuff is this Li Xiaolin, Chinese People's Association for Friendship with Foreign Adversaries. That's a mouthful. Daughter of a former Chinese president, co-keynote of a conference with Tim Walz
in Minnesota.
He says, quote, "A friend helped me contact the authorities and funding came through the government." End quote. Quote, "Trump needs to start doing his job and end trade war with China." Let's see who else is up here though. Let's start with the PLA stuff. That's Liu Yazhu. I'm not good with Chinese names. Former CCP Central Committee member, PLA senior general and political commissar, is the spouse of the previous aforementioned person who did the keynote with Tim Walz.
Mm-hmm.
All right, continuing on to the right, another member of this United Front work for foreign influence for the CCP, Patrick Ho. Quote, "The effing spy chief of China."
China.
Okay. Paid Biden's for help determining if United States, if they were under United States investigation. Convicted of bribery and money laundering. Connected to, that's the 10 held for H for the big guy, huh? That's the text messages from Hunter, where he's talking about, the big guy, which is dad, and H is ho. Come on, Xi, get your hose. Anyway, so the next person that is also PLA, People's Liberation Army, Department of Secretary for PLA Influence Organization, is Yi Yanming. Jianming? Transferred millions to Biden's via faux JVs and other schemes. Former Department Secretary of China Association for Internal Friendly Contact. How many organizations do they need for foreign influence? This CAIFC, got CPAFFC. You thought that alphabet soup was difficult in America. Good night. He's connected to... No, China's going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They're not competition for us.
They're just willing to say anything to cover their tracks.
By the way, there's two more connecting tissues here that we missed. See on the left and on the right, there's those blue lines on the very margin. That wasn't there for aesthetics. Doop. Reports direct. These guys are direct reports to she. And I'm not misgendering when I say she. I think he would not like that. I had to flip. Look.
Go ahead.
Look, this is less than 6 degrees of separation. So you know that what is it? 6 ways of Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Okay, this is literally Tim, Li Xiaolin, Xi. It's Biden, Yi, Xi. 3 on both sides. And if you add them up, you get 6. It's not that far off. Look at that.
This is amazing. I mean, and the thing is that they talk about Trump, and when Netanyahu came into town, everybody was like, "Oh my God, what was it they were trying to throw at Trump because he was talking to Netanyahu?"
Mhm.
What's the law where you can't behalf?
If you're not if you are not a United States representative, if you're not somebody who actually can speak for the United States and make deals and whatnot, like, if you're a senator or whoever, you're part of some kind of liaison. If you're not a part of the machine, you're not allowed to go make deals and have contact with other people around the world. You're not allowed to do that. That's why they got in. That's why
Trump, the United States. I have to add that.
Well, like, you're not allowed to go and like make deals on behalf. And that was done early on. That's a law that was made early on in our nation's history, because at the time it was very hard for news to travel, right? So when news traveled by boat, it was months. It was months before word got around, right? Well, now you have the internet, you have everything else. You could literally pick somebody up on the phone and be like, "Who's this guy that's in my office that claims to be a part of your department?" Logan Act. Thank you.
Logan Act. Yeah.
Aaron and is one of our friends, and she said yes, Logan Act. So Logan Act is, yeah. So they were trying to get Trump for that. So now here's the thing: these guys are a part of the machine. Other than Hunter. Hunter should not be in the mix. That's obvious, right? These backdoor channels where money is coming through Yi, or doing this keynote of a conference with Walz in Minnesota, that stuff isn't cool. If you have official meetings set up with people for purposes to do diplomatic relations, it's one-on-one, you've got reporters, you've got all of the proper things going on, that's one thing. But what they're doing here is off the books, so to speak. They're doing this other stuff, this other influencing and whatnot, and it's not publicized. Now, Walz is on the radar for other reasons because of stolen valor accusations against him, and so apparently he's been on the ish list for a lot of people in Minnesota, regardless of him becoming governor. So, but yeah, here's the 6 degrees of Xi Jinping from Tim Walz and the Bidens.
Yeah, and then you look at the stuff that's happened in Ukraine, and it's like, this is a massive operation. Like, this isn't just a couple of people just talking mafia stuff. When we talked about I think in Roma Nation, this was back in the dark shows before we went live. I talked about how the Bidens had all these shell companies and corporations that were just, and there was nothing there, nothing in, nothing out, and it makes you wonder, like, okay, well, if you have this corporation, what exactly are you selling? What products and services are you selling from one side to the other? And then you had that issue with the what was it, the 1023 with Biden, and how he got caught up in that. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more than what the Department of Justice is telling us right now. But that's the one thing that was out that everybody knew about, and that was the only way that Congress could get in. Because they knew that as long as they had that 1023, where if you're acting as a foreign agent, you have to fill this form out in order to receive any type of money, benefits, anything. Or even if you're just dealing with somebody that's not a U.S. company, you have to fill that out before you bring money over to the United States.
Yeah, it reminds me of the conflicts of interest that Hillary Clinton had when she approved the sale of uranium-1 to Russians.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did I say that?
Whoops.
Did I say that the Clintons cahootsed and cavorted and cahooted and what all of the terms you can use to glue people together with Russians. They took Russian money, bro. I mean, that's real. She was Secretary of State. Secretary of State is the one that, her department approves the sale of companies when it comes to things that have to do with munitions and especially nuclear material. So a uranium company that was American owned, I think it was one of the last ones, if not the last one owned. Her husband, Bill, did a bunch of speaking engagements for Russian investors, bankers that were involved in investing in Uranium One and the buying and the selling and all of that had all of that together. That's on the books. That's out there. So their whole Russia has no teeth.
Exactly.
Has no teeth.
Yeah, they really don't. And what is it called when you blame others for what you're doing yourself? Some kind of smear.
I mean, the best they have on Trump was, he lacks the restrictions on asbestos imports from Russia. Okay, we have restrictions on where asbestos can be used and for what purposes these days. Like, it's not in your schools anymore. They're not making asbestos tiles for your flooring. When was the last time you actually saw asbestos in your house? If you didn't buy one older than the 60s or the 50s, I think it was. Something like that, So, anyway. Yeah. Biden's like China. They like which is kind of, I mean.
Come on, bro. You didn't have to do them like that. China.
I would say never mind.
You're crazy.